Hello, I'm Stephen Monkey Mason, and I just want to say a massive happy birthday to Paul Ray, who turned 40 yesterday, the old bastard. This is the podcast for Tremors. We are joined also with Carl McSorley, and we're about to press play on 3, 2, 1, boop. Right, so this is my second run. About a year ago I did the podcast solely for Tremors, and it is approximately just about to hit 200,000 views. And since then, I've travelled all over the world and did podcasts for all now 7 movies. And it's great to have Carl and Paul on this to actually celebrate Arrow's release of the new movie. So, take it away, guys.
Well, I think this one, I can't actually remember when I first watched it. It had to been VHS, but I definitely was rental for me. I don't know about you, Paul.
Mine was VHS, but I remember outside school I had a massive Tremors poster in a bus stop. I always remember that. But that looks interesting. But yeah, it was VHS for me. The first one of the films I love, and then I got a bit bored with the other ones, and I haven't even bothered watching the 7th one. I couldn't be bothered to watch it.
I've literally only seen the first 2. I feel like I'd probably enjoy them enough for what they are. It's just something that hasn't popped up on my radar. It might even be something I watch now that we're officially in lockdown. So I've got a 6 steelbook collection sort of thing, so I've got them all.
I mean, when I did the podcast, I look into them, and I always slated Universal, because this is one that they keep on cash cowing out. It's had multiple steelbooks, it's had individual releases, and then they've even put 25th anniversary on Tremors and changed the artwork, different colour, but bog standard, no extra features. So it's been great to see Arrow come along and basically have literally went to Universal. And I didn't know this, but the three directors, and pretty much wrote a script called Short Circuit, and they went off to sell that, get that going, and they said they would come back for Ron Underwood, who directed this one, and said, look, we'll use our clout to push you. And basically over the course of the next decade, they all worked very close to each other, but all 3 of them have went on to direct Tremors 1, 2 and 3. So the original trilogy is something that was homegrown from university, and now it's warrant that we've had 7 movies and a TV show and a failed reboot. So, but yeah, it looks nice on Arrow Mind.
Yeah, it's a really nice, clean transfer, like.
But yeah, I think it's weird. Like, it's one of those ones where the first one works so well, and then the cast depletes into the point where, you know, in the third one, a couple of the cast come back from this one, but you know what I mean? It's sort of been running on fumes, but it's an interesting concept. But say what it is, it's Jaws on land. That's its original name, Land Sharks.
I think it's such an easy film to watch, Sean. I mean, that's what's good about it. It's an hour and a half or 87 minutes or whatever, and just a nice, easy film. And there's only a small cast, which is even better. So it's not a big, massive cast. Now, for me, Kevin, this is a film after I've seen Kevin Bacon in. You know what I mean? The films this for him put me on the map for Kevin Bacon films was Tremors for me.
Well, Kevin Bacon's
I remember seeing him in Friday 13.
Yeah.
I don't really remember having much of a track record on who he was.
I mean, this bit here when he's trying to hammer that nail in, and just honestly, Fred Ward's reaction, just fucking priceless. They've got, but they were really badly dubbed in this, because they kept swearing their heads off, and obviously to get the rating they wanted, they had to drop a lot of swearing out. But Kevin Bacon, obviously, Footloose had hit big, but he was struggling to sort of transition and to get big paychecks, and he was a bit worried about his career at this point, and he didn't really want to take it. But again, it's a 3-hour drive out of LA. They built the town in Low Pine, and basically, you know what I mean, he was worried about it, and also his wife was about to give birth, which she actually does during filming as well. So,
well, he actually went on record, Bacon, didn't he? Said that this was probably the most fun he's ever had in his career. And that wasn't too long ago.
Well,
he said like the filming of it was just a great fun experience, apparently.
Well, that's it. I mean, he sort of one of the ones he swept under the rug for a while. But you know, I mean, Kevin Bacon, if you look in the 90s, stuff like Murder in the First and Sleepers and all that, he is one hell of a fucking actor. You know what I mean? But these two work so well, and it was a shame that, you know, like, when they tried to make this remake and Fred Ward was attached to appear in the second episode to sort of like, I need help, need Earl, they should have just went straight from the bat, Val and Earl are back, rather than just trying to hang it on Kevin Bacon.
so it didn't push like a pilot episode with Kevin Bacon a few years ago, but no one picked it up, did they?
Yeah, that's what happened. No one picked it up, but they went on and made a 7th film after it. Do you know what I mean? So it's weird.
Must be just I don't think.
Well, it's just...
It's just bad timing, though, isn't it? Because if they did it today, I reckon it would get picked up straight away.
Well, it did.
I mean, you're talking like 2018, so it wasn't long ago, but still.
Oh, it wasn't long ago, but like, I mean, like the idea that it didn't happen, but then they went and made a 7th film, which the 7th film's mental. It's like, it's hard target on an island, do you know what I mean? It's mentalism.
For me, I always go back to it. Like I said, I seen the first 3. I watched the Ace one, the Snow one, which it wasn't. And then I watched a little bit of the new one, good enough, and I couldn't get into it. But for me, I always go back to the first ones. Like Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one and the third one I love so much, and the new ones are just a hit and miss. They always go back to the source material, they always go back to the very first one. It's like such an easy film and doesn't get overhyped, it doesn't get confusing, it's just nice and simple, isn't it?
Well, the first 3 I really like because there's like an evolution in each one, and then the 4th one's obviously the one where they try to do a western, so they try to branch out. But they also made a TV series which you can watch all on YouTube, and even Christopher Lloyd is in it, and he's class in it. Like Christopher Lloyd's in it, Michael Gloss is in it. It sort of exists in the same universe as these. They expand the universe. They give a bit more research. So Universal were pumping money in there, and they found that it was a big fan base, but they refused to pull the trigger on going anything big and bold. You know what I mean?
It's your clubhouse, Marty! It's your clubhouse! Like that.
Well, that's it. But no, it's a very smart movie. In the sense of like, yeah, it's sharks under land, but it's so grounded. The composer was half replaced halfway through. Because the score would be good, but you don't obviously get, it's not available. All this city here, this perfection, was just built out in the desert on some private land. You know what I mean? It was only 11 million to make it.
Yeah. Yeah, but obviously didn't it do like something like 15, 16 million?
No, it flopped. It flopped really bad. This is one film that it became a cult classic through VHS.
Now, let's do basketball. I always remember from Back to the Future in the Wonder Years.
Yeah.
Well, he's in Tremors 3 and appears in the TV series as well. But one thing I don't understand about him, Melvin the kid, right? Who's his dad? Who's he belong to? Because, like, if you want to think
Chinese
about...
bloke in it?
Shut up, man. Oh, fucking Walter
Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? Is there something wrong with that? Like,
well, because in the third one, Walter Chan's granddaughter's in it, all right, and Melvin's in it doing something else. So there's no connection there. I would have been said. But no, it's like the guy who gets sucked down the tire. Like the camera rolls across the floor and rolls up to that kid, and it's like, did that kid just get killed in front of him? Because that's a fucking dark turn for this movie.
It's really interesting watching this again though, because like you see in Burt Gummer, like proper fresh and everything. It's like you don't know what's coming.
I think you're like, yeah, it's what was his 1990 what?
1989.
This is 1990. I was just gonna say before the lassie Wanda, she didn't have much of a career, did she?
No, it's literally not. I mean, we were talking about this call the other day on the Flash Gordon podcast that, you know, it's like them two actors who were very similar had fuck all. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's a couple of...
Isn't she a singer?
Sorry?
No, you know, Bert's wife. Isn't she a famous singer or something?
Yeah, oh, she's literally like loads of top 10 hits. Her music is the end credit songs, yeah. She's been in loads.
We love you. You just wonder if it's like choice or whether it's like just maybe she didn't want it. Because I think like with this Wanderlust, right? Because I know it sounds really sexist, but like she's a really obviously attractive woman. She does a fairly decent job in this film, so it just makes you wonder if she's one of those actresses who just kind of didn't come out to be much.
One thing that's really good about the director, he's cast really well, because obviously Michael Gross was known for being in Family Ties, completely opposite to his character, because Michael Gross has done a lot of TV work. And for him to come into this and be so, like, outlandish, I mean, he's not totally, like, OTT as he comes across in the second one. You know, he's pushed to his limits in this, but everyone's been well cast.
Can I just say much about Dallas properly? Which is all weird.
Paul, you're very crackly. Paul, you're very crackly.
Sorry. What about Special Dave?
Don't shout. Hiya. There's one thing when I was doing the last podcast, there's one thing that's really good about this movie, as it's really good at setting, like, you know where you are, even though it's just a little movie. Obviously you have the events that happen out through the town, but even here, when obviously the rat with the caterpillar and the tractor, and then you can see it from the roof later on, you go, right, that's where they need to get. You know what I mean? Because they've built the set, it's really well done, because if you make it in a fake town, where they were trying to, like, town double or something, they'll be filming here, there, and everywhere. They've really got a sense of a 360 angle with this entire production.
Yeah.
And here comes the shitstorm.
It's one of those jobs, and people will go, "Oh, I'd hate to do that job," but I bet it's really well paid.
Well, it's not really paid, but it's a fucking definitely one-take deal, that fucker.
Oh, no.
I love how they got to take the Hoover.
Yeah.
And the microwave.
That's it. I mean, that's it. I mean, would you, like, it's total, like, geographical isolation. I'm sure this woman is in, she comes back for the third film, but I'm sure she's in Twin Peaks. I've started watching that.
I've heard a lot about that, like.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, she comes back for the third one as well.
And Ada Richardson. She's a painter now, I think. Like, right away. Yeah.
Now, there's a scene cut out of the start of this movie. Old Man Fred, who was about to appear, well, a bit later on, him and Edgar were meant to have a scene, and it's when the coyotes get killed, but they had to cut it out because they didn't want to feel like they were being nasty to coyotes, hence why in the second one there's a coyote killed out of a joke. Because it was just, again, when you're trying to get a movie off the ground that's got no credibility to it, you know what I mean? You have to bow down to some changes, and that was one of them, taking out the coyote scene.
Yeah. But it would have, like, it's one of those scenes, when it's like, kind of, it's not necessary. You know, it's like, when you look at it from a grand scheme of things, it's like, is it like, I don't know, it seems weird, but it's like a massive difference between a film that's, say, like, an hour and a half and an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a well-paced movie. Another thing this film doesn't get enough credit for, though, is the use of stop motion and practical effects, because this is like one of the last movies before Jurassic Park really came along, and when we can fix that with CGI. So there's some fantastic practical effects in this.
And camera movements and stuff, it's really good. Just like and up there from them.
Well, that's it. There's use of matte paintings and stuff like that's really well done as well. Some really high angles, and you think, how to get that shot? And of course, it'll be
And when you watch Tremors, you always go to work and stuff that you don't want to do. You always do paper scissors, don't you? Someone else, you got Tremors, didn't you? You go, oh yeah. You know what I mean? It comes back around.
I'd be screwed. I don't do heights, like, there's no way I'm climbing that.
It's quite a sinister look. Like, I mean, he's definitely dead. Like, it's Santa Claus.
Look at the beard on that man. Jesus Christ.
Oh, he's ahead of me. Oh, there he is, beard.
But even here,
I don't know who would support something like that, though.
fuck off.
Ugh, I know.
But here it sets up the Doctor. You know what I mean? It's it introduces cast really well, but it's really clever, I think. Old man Fred coming.
Now, when it it'd be awesome. Just that shot there of the rake, you know what I mean, going into all the plough, going into the it's like a setup shot, you know what I mean? Really good shot. Like, yeah.
Aye, old man.
Was this a 12 or PG? I can't even remember.
That's 15. Again.
Be careful.
Oh, it just gets eaten in the ground. Like, it's fucking brutal, like.
Nom, 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 nom. There's seismic activity going on around here.
That roller doesn't look big enough for. Does that just keep going all the way around and around and around? It's like, where does the paper go?
Yeah, it'd be like a printer. So it's just a bit bed underneath.
And here we go, the road gets taken out, which is like taking out a mobile phone in a modern movie, you know what I mean? So the isolation's happening, so...
And they could have still walked around it, though, I reckon.
Or kind of a little bit.
Well, in the TV series, there's this hidden facility Bert goes to find, and like that's where, like, because in the TV show there's like a rhinoceros one, but it's a sort of like Christopher Lloyd makes it, and there's loads of like ghosts and weird shit. There's a lot going on, like, but like just the locations like out there, you know what I mean? They've went out there, and because originally they were all wanting to shoot it around LA and in studios, but like the production designer just went around buying old shacks and like just transporting them there and setting up on private land and going, right, you know, that's it, done, dusted. Do you know what I mean? You never see inside, it's just a shack.
Yeah.
This is fucking horrible. This gave me a bit of a shock as a kid.
Yeah, I always remember this, but like, it's like it's like the scene from Jaws, and with the head and the jump scare kind of thing. Great effects, like even this picture, drill and stuff.
Fred Ward, Fred Ward was big, had partially big hits in the 70s, Reno and all that kinds of stuff. He never really became a big star, but like he's in stuff like Chain Reaction, and he's in Road Trip and that, isn't it? He's went on to be like quite a supporting actor.
That's where I seen him last year. I forgot, I only watched Road Trip, Lockdown 1.5 or something like that. I went, oh my god, there's Fred Ward.
I think he was in, I think I remember seeing him in the Incredible Hulk series. I've no idea, just seen people with awesome faces.
Yeah. How cool is that? Like, I mean, it's just like, respect.
I mean, he gets eaten up there, and this guy gets squished. Now, obviously, Walter Chang, obviously, Big Trouble in Little China, as well as Prince of Darkness. Hello?
So this is actually only has 3 taglines, and honestly, they're probably the...
They said there was nothing new under the sun.
It's not clever, but it's just like, as far as taglines go, they are very like kind of well thought out. So you've got one which is, yes, there's they say there's nothing new under the sun, but under the ground. And then there's the monster movie that breaks new ground. And you've got the ultimate underground movie that will leave you legless.
So I can't remember any of those taglines at all on anything.
I don't think they really got used the way you would expect. Like on the posters, because the poster they made was always very simple. It was Tremors, the Graboid, and then they're right at the very top, aren't they?
Yeah,
right,
very Jaws. Yeah, it's very Jaws.
So there's not really a lot going on with the imagery, so I think like it would be more like promotion, like standees and stuff like that might have happened, but...
But the thing is, with the big box VHS, and you always look at the graboid doesn't look like the graboid in the film because it's sort of got going up with like vicious teeth, whereas the graboids look like they're doing the whole metal thing, like metal. You know what I mean, with little pinches and that.
Well, that's it. I mean, obviously the one I'm watching is it's just a standalone one Tremors, which, to be honest with you, that artwork has fallen in line with probably the more recent artwork, which has got his like kind of almost like that Blade 2 kind of face kind of peeling out look, whereas the original Tremors poster, I don't know how you describe it, but it looked more like a star.
Was it hand drawn? I can't remember. The original one.
The original one, I don't know. I don't think it was hand drawn. No, I wouldn't want to say it. To be honest with you, not that sure. Check it out.
I love this. It's off it goes.
They are a great duo, though. I think like let's say top 10 movie duos. These guys do work really well together. Like.
Well, that was it. I mean, Fred Ward comes back for the next one, and you get Michael Gloss, and you get Graney coming into it, who again just had a random appearance. He was quite good as a replacement. And that the second one set down in Mexico. Then the third one comes back to perfection, and Michael Gloss comes back, the little girl, the mom, and then the other guy comes there. Melvin comes back, and so does the other Mexican guy. So they all come back, but like, you know, as the series goes on, there's less and less, unfortunately. Now the guy there with the hat, the green hat, he must be Melvin's.
Great particles, like.
He must be Melvin's dad.
Are you really invested in finding out who Melvin's dad is? Aren't you?
Well, they just don't understand who Melvin belongs to. That's the problem.
To be honest, sorry.
I reckon if you wanted to write it, I just thought this would be questioned. They'll be like, they're going, what? What does it matter? But I do see your sentiment there, yes. Everyone's got a place in the town, but he's a random kid.
Dun, 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 dun.
I think he's trying to buy it.
That's like you, that, Paul. Wheeling dealing.
Straight away.
So that's an interesting fact. So Michael Goss was the only star to show up at the 30th anniversary celebration.
So
Tremors on January 18th
in 8 films
of this year.
Hello.
Hello, I stopped talking.
Hello.
Hi, Paul.
What's up, Paul?
No, go ahead. I'll do my end.
No, just saying Michael Gross was the only person who turned up last January for the 30th anniversary at the Lone Pines, California, where the film was shot on location. That seemed quite strange.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially because obviously they did like last year, they were putting all this together, filming all the Back to Perfection and stuff.
Yeah, seemed very strange that he. But maybe it's.
I wanted Michael Gloss for HorrorCon last year. I was shouting at them to get him before they announced everything, you know what I mean? I thought he'd be a great addition.
Yeah.
This is quite terrifying. I mean, this is quite a... again, you don't know what it is. You know what I mean? At the moment, you just...
Yeah. I was looking very claustrophobic, and the music playing also in the car is horrible. Like all of it together.
I mean, I might be asking a stupid question, but was it ever established whether they were aliens or whether it was...
No, the Precambrian life forms. Precambrian. The Precambrian life forms, they're older than dinosaurs. It's established in the second one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in the timeline, in the Tremors 4, it's all about minings and stuff, and there's an accident in the mines that actually unearths the eggs, so that's how the eggs get out.
Right. It makes sense, I suppose, given the location of it, so...
That's a new one. Go on Mars. just a quick recap. We've got Misery, I love Misery, Ghost, Hunt for Red October, Total Recall, Arachnophobia, Die Hard 2, Darkman, Kindergarten Cop, Tremors, the 48 Hours, Back to the Future 3, Men at Work, Loose Cannons, Maple Heaven, Escape Patrol, Burst, Goes to Jail, Bird on the Wire, Gremlins 2, Problem Child, Dick Tracy, Biggest Totem 2, 3 Men Little Lady, Home Alone, absolutely loads of films out in 1990, like.
There you go, the metal graboid head.
Great poetry, like. They would have had to bury it under the ground, wouldn't they? The puppets and stuff like that, or raise the ground up.
Well, how they raised the ground up is, like a boat boy. They just basically drug a track and then just pulled it on a car. That's how they did it. Like now it'll all be like CGI and like, I mean in the later Tremors, man, they're fucking jumping through the sky like a fucking flying tornado and fucking eating people and stuff.
When the ass was the ass popped as a second one?
The third one.
The third one.
One of the problems they had, in pre-production or when they were designing the graboids was like, it needs an extra bit of skin over the mouth to, for shielding, for protection and that. And someone was like, he made a giant penis movie and everyone just looked at them and went, we'll just keep it with a fucking bone head.
Yeah.
But even here, the idea, like, you know what I mean? Does she get eaten alive or, just like the whole, like, getting pulled underneath the car? It's just fucking terrifying. Just like you're not safe anywhere.
Yeah.
There you go, check out VHS's he's got on the shelf. You can't
That's
see.
such a great shot, the lights going out.
See there, Melvin's trying to rob him. Who's Melvin? But he's dad. I don't know who Melvin belongs to. Smoking though, smoking.
What are you on about? Oh.
They're all smoking?
Well, I assumed you meant Melvin was smoking. I was like what? But
Now Miguel, who's in the background, he returns for the third movie, a little bit older, and gets probably one of the most lethal deaths in the series. The glass ice blaster swoops down, he gets knocked off a cliff, and he gets split roasted on a metal, like, rusted fence. He gets chopped in half and everything. That's fucking so brutal. For, like, you know what I mean? Like, you want to come back for Tremors 3? I want to fucking crucify you. It's fucking brutal death.
Which is ready for war. I love them. The kind of like doomsday preppers, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, like, a lot of actors, you know what I mean? I mean, a lot of people get roles in movies and, like, they're trying to make that transition. Or music singers like to get at least one, like, film credit on them. And normally, like her, it's like, it ends up being quite a cult film. Do you know what I mean? Like Alice Cooper in Prince of Darkness, do you know what I mean? They do, like, people... It was that era where people were trying to make that transition. Vanilla Ice. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's nice.
Dun dun dun. Ride into the night.
So yeah, you're right. It did. The budget was 11 million, and it did 16.7. So it made the money back, but not. It was obviously what Universal was supposed to happen.
Yeah. But like I say, given what was released that year,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Again though, you're 11 million.
Definitely
Look at the effects. Look at the location. Look at like the quality that is on the screen, and you got to think the cast mustn't have been paid that much. Do you know what I mean?
You can tell the money went on.
chunk of it went on the props, like the graboids themselves.
I mean, even the Walter Chang's shop, that's built on a gimbal, so it can like shake and crush down for like the later scenes. You know what I mean? See, who does Melvin belong to?
You need shot, that's what he's doing right now.
Alright, kick your ass.
Dun 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 as they ride off into the sunset.
What a good pan shot that is.
Well, look at the slow motion. The idea of like zooming it, like slow down. I mean, look at that shot, man. It's fucking stunning.
Which cast?
How many hospital years?
Find the doctor. You're right though. Like just under 90 minutes long, it doesn't slow down. You know,
It's the slowest, the shortest one in it in the series.
That's what's up for.
Yeah, I think I read that in my notes earlier on. I'm sure it said it's like 95 minutes. It's the shortest one.
I mean, that guy's quite clever. You know what I mean? He's a doctor and he's building his own house. I mean, he's a skilled tradesman. Where's the golden oldies coming from?
What the damages? Yeah.
I've been trying to think.
Didn't finish.
Can anyone help me out here? What was the film Kevin Bacon appears in? And it's a big movie, and it's just him running down the street looking for a taxi. It's like in the late 80s, like 80s movie.
It's automobiles.
Is that Trains, Planes? Ah, it is.
Planes. Yep. Just in his cab. No. He asks for a cab or something like that. Steve Martin. It's that one.
That's the one. You're right. Now setting up the again here though, right? Establishing right. There's a void there, and it establishes it without really being like notable, but it actually comes into a nice little cliche. Yeah. Here it comes.
Whoa. Damn bloody horses.
There must be hundreds of them down there. No, just one. Bang.
And again, the shot is really good with the camera cranes above them.
I mean, look at that stunt there, man. I mean, that stunt guy, like, right, can you come backwards off a horse? It's not a fucking easy thing to do, like.
Is this a Western one? I can't remember now.
Oh, you could see a wire there.
Yeah, no, I just mean it.
They're under the goddamn ground.
Poor bloody horses.
Poor horse.
There's a thing where everyone had curtains too, didn't they? Everyone had curtains for the hair.
Oh,
Those were the days.
Must be hundreds of them down there. No. Miniature work though, really well done.
well, I think that's where the money's being spent in it.
Great shot.
And even here though, running in the again, it's just really well done. The hat coming off. This is where the fend posts go down there as well. Just nice little gags, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you wouldn't say it's really chase it. Just shoot out two, isn't it? Doing it that way. And easier.
Doink. And obviously here comes the one and only F-bomb in the movie that they kept. Mainly because it's the one you probably couldn't block out, because a lot of we got the mother humpers and all that remained in.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Stupid son of a bitch.
He knocked himself cold. Fuck you.
You're like 2 frames ahead of me.
Like going back there, Kevin Bacon, though, Flatliners. That was the year before, and that was a good movie.
I've only seen that once or twice, and you rewatch it again. Got no time now.
I mean, what a great effect. I mean, now just again look at the new ones. They're all special effects. it's a different kind of acting. I mean, Fred Ward is looking at that there and going, "Fuck me, that looks good." Like literally, like have a good look at that. And then you got the KY jelly fucking going down there, and it's just like, how good does that? You can't fake that. Was it the Horrorcon we were at, Carl, when they had a graboid there, or was it year before we went?
No, it was that one. Did you buy that? You bought the miniature one then, but then they had a big one in like the hallway or something, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I like a lot of the times where the actors weren't really involved in the special effects in these sort of films. So like when you were just talking about Fred Ward there's Respawn, like it's probably likely that is probably the first time you've seen it.
Who's that?
Again, though, it doesn't really like hang around showing you what the whole thing is, because now they need to work it out, and one's dead, but then there's 3 more.
I get that how it pushes against the dirt with its own little hairs and stuff. And I mean, it's really good that. So it tells you how she moves.
Well, that's how they discover the second one, because there's fossil records of them.
Of course, everyone knows about it, but just didn't tell you.
No, they're really good comedy. Like, it was a shame that they didn't do anything else. Like,
I will say, like, Kevin Bacon for me is up there as someone who literally can't do anything though. I mean, literally, he's probably one of the funniest actors I've watched. But then he can also be like really like sinister when he wants to be.
Look at Sleepers.
Yeah.
That's fucking grim. Like Stir of Echoes.
Well, I only watched Stir of Echoes for the first time last year, which was really good. To be honest with you, I've got to say, I think the first time I saw Kevin Bacon to know, it was probably Friday the 13th, but again, it was not like the biggest role. But it was probably River Wild.
Hmm.
And then again, he plays like kind of a, like, I think he's quite a funny one in that one, but in the same sense, he's like very sinister.
He's a badass, like, he can be. I mean, Murder in the First, really good. Obviously, Clint Eastwood's cast him for Mystic River, that's another one.
Yeah.
He's done quite a few dark things, because Mr. Woodchip, a paedophilia film or something like that.
Yeah.
Hollow Man? Really
Hollow Man was
movie,
like quite
yeah.
a dark, sinister one, yeah. I always remember a writer came up with this film based on this kind of idea. Apparently, was when he was in the Navy. He was just chilling on a rock, and he just had a funny thought of like, I wonder if there was something in the ground that would like prevent me from getting off this rock. And like, that was apparently how the whole story kind of came about.
Well, that's it. I mean, when you listen to the writing, the way they did the writing is one writer would start at the front, one writer would write at the back, and they would like meet in the middle, then they would swap over and then sort of rewrite each other's stuff and all that, and that was the transition they did. The director of photography actually proposed to his wife on that rock as well while they were doing this. Yeah, I've not seen her in anything else.
I had a quick look earlier on, and just like TV, a couple of films, but nothing major. Literally, I think under 20 stuff she's done. I think 2005 was her last gig.
Is she still alive?
Oh, she's still alive. I tend to check these things now.
Because of Death Hard.
The picture on the Arrow one's really good because the cast has got a lot of freckles.
Did
Yeah, what?
use the original negative for the gun? Does it tell you in the box? The original negatives.
It's a 4K restoration scan. It was weird though, because this is the first one Arrow's actually brought out on 4K and Blu-ray at the same time with special editions, because normally it's Universal, because they brought Waterworld out rather than Arrow bring the 4K restoration. It's a weird connection between Arrow and them.
So this is Arrow's first 4K release, is
it? No, because like King of New York, I'm talking about the special edition. The special edition came out on both, but you don't get the Blu-ray with a 4K disc. It's a separate box set.
No. Yeah.
They're doing that a lot now these days, aren't they? It was almost like that transition into when you bought a Blu-ray, you automatically got a DVD as well. Whereas they seem to be doing a lot more 4K just on their own.
Like Triple Play Disney. Well, now they don't do
but you've also got a digital code and everything. It's an interesting name to go with as well, isn't it? Valentine.
Oh, you can't help surnames, like, can you? Another thing we haven't talked about as well is, although it looks lush and tranquil and all that, do you know it potentially snowed a lot of the time on this, and it was freezing cold?
It does look cold, actually. On that rock.
Oh, that wind.
Stumpy, yeah.
See, good old Stumpy's still down there. And it's just like, boink.
I mean, it's awfully windy for those clouds to be as still as they are, don't you think?
Here we go, ludicrous, pole vaulting.
They'll have no energy either, will they? I mean, for being on a rock all night, so...
I guess so.
I mean, what if the poles weren't there? You know what I mean? I know it's just a movie.
Princeton?
I'm surprised there isn't a fourth member of cast to get eaten in mid fall. But I love this bit here when he fails to get over.
Oh, it's fantastic. You just kind of walk it with that.
Like a friend, like a what to do it, man. He throws his tab away. It's cheesy music also behind it. I love it.
As I say, the composer, like, he wrote all the score of the music, then didn't really know his music was getting replaced. And you're like, oh shit.
It'd actually be quite hard to do that, though, wouldn't it? To actually
fucking
only
right.
go halfway and then come back.
I mean, what were them poles lying around there? Anyway, I mean, yeah, it's just a movie. But then even that shot there is what they use on the new artwork.
What is it?
Yeah, inside the Tremors graphic, you can see that pole vaulting scene.
That's awesome, I think.
And get the keys in the mouth. 3, 2, 1. Dun, 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 dun.
I have to start doing that. Put my keys in. When I go shopping, my keys are bomb in my bag, and by the time I come home, I have to empty my bag before getting the house.
Brett was looking at last night. We were looking at games, just as something I can keep myself occupied. You guys still there?
Yeah. Well, something did beep. I think Paul's disconnected. Are you back, Paul?
Hello, I'm here. I'm back.
Yeah.
Britt was looking at games And she'd, oh, I wonder if Asda's got any games on. And she'd, oh, for fuck's sake, egg time, and you're in a queue. And she'd, not this shit again. Welcome to lockdown.
Well, your website's down, or at least it was last night.
Is it?
The store is, anyway, not the main site, but I went on the hmvstores.com and it didn't load up. It just said it was currently being worked on. So
because they put all the signs saying it's close to be closed. That was on Instagram before.
What a Chang store. Graboids we call them.
He's definitely Melvin's dad, isn't he?
There's definitely something in it, like...
I told you, I'll show you when you think, oh, it's Melvin's dad, but there's just no acknowledgement who the kid belongs to. There we go, some on-screen deaths here. Someone else came out and unfortunately met their demise off camera. Left his work belt and everything.
I have to bloody speed up. You're like a scene ahead of me, I don't know how.
Look at that mobile phone. Graboids.
Value ammo.
I diet Pepsi. Pepsi everywhere.
Didn't pay for itself.
To be honest with you, he's pushing tin. I mean, I know he's got a rental video shop in the background, but you imagine like just one watch movie in it. You haven't potentially got loads of people wanting to.
No.
Look. Big dramatic, probably about overacting. Boom. Here. And his eyes just fucking light up. I didn't realise he had bright blue eyes, like cool as light. Graboids.
Jesus Christ, boy.
The dirt. Stay on the dirt. So about a year ago I did the podcast because when I was in New Zealand I did reviews for 1 and 2 and then continued on when I got back. It'd be about a year ago since I uploaded the original podcast.
Yeah.
There's Melvin up to his old tricks again.
Said shit, isn't he?
And obviously here, walks along. Quite a good scene this. But it would be bouncing a basketball across that desert land. Does that work? Anyone?
I don't know, but like given how like kind of drastic they had to like pole vault, you would be like, I would have expected them to also like get inside, don't go wandering around. Especially the
good shot here, like the basketball. It's a great shot, and I just think he's taking it. It's basically the boy who cried wolf, isn't it?
Yeah.
Boy who cried wolf.
Now it would make sense of him with the yellow shirt. Nestor's was the dad.
Really?
Oosh, there you go. Here we go. So
oh my god.
It's all coming. I'll show you the scene what makes sense. 2 graboids in this as well, which is really good. Run.
Graboids are coming for you. Graboids gonna eat you.
I think there's even going to be a video game of this, you know, early development PlayStation 2. I've seen some bits and bobs around YouTube about that.
That would have been cool. But mind you gotta be careful what you ask for, because wasn't Jaws like really poor?
I know, but Man-Eater is mint. Have you played Man-Eater yet, Paul?
It's still in the seal. It's still sealed up.
Get it, play it, man. You've got plenty of time now, man.
But now I've been playing the zombie Zombie Dead Trilogy 4.5 or something. Can zombies Nazis?
Right, here's a weird thing, right? When he jumps and fucking spears her off the fucking pogo stick, the pogo stick's still standing there perfect. Ready? It's coming. It's perfectly standing there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gone. Doesn't like that.
Well, it's coming back.
It's just a movie, innit?
I know, just a movie.
The worst thing is the little lass has got those headphones on, the ones I used to say get stuck in your hair, you know, from a cassette tape. The metal one.
Aye.
Those are the fabricy ones.
It was the extender, wasn't it? Used to get.
Aye.
Here comes another one. Again, just simple off-camera tricks. You know what I mean? It's done so well. Oh, Melvin's not going to let her in. She gets wrapped in barbed wire.
So I like how they did that though, because it's not like, okay, you could probably still say that's such a bad look for her, but like the way they played it out, it made sense. Like she would obviously be flat, and then she had to roll over, and then suddenly she'd now wrapped.
That would be me.
You know, is that you're looking at for?
That's me, look, but not even pants off low.
It's got a fucking have her. Fucking pickaxe coming though.
Groovy.
Like a drive-in movie.
Are you too late? Get out of your pants. Great effects. Just in time. Oh, now there's a second one.
Well, take your pants off. It's only a special effect, take your pants off, is it?
And here comes the boy. You wouldn't really get one take of that.
That's kind of just like a cartoon, isn't it? You know, with like underneath like a rug, and the rug goes up like an animal underneath the rug in a cartoon. It's awesome. Is it God? You see Godzilla? You know, the original one, the Matthew Broderick one. You know, where the old man's running and like from Godzilla, and like, you know, next to the water, and like the pier starts smashing behind him. That's like that, isn't it, Mason? The original Godzilla.
Aye, Paul, it is, aye. It is, aye. You want to see me give Paul Ray loads of shit on For the Love of Movies channel? I appeared down there last night, griefing Paul Ray about Godzilla. That's true. Yeah.
I thought like they're looking at Ghetto Blast in the back. Hey, but being sound, man. That's what I need. Top left.
Was that Godzilla, the one with the raptors in?
Yep.
Yeah, the best one. With Leon, the professional.
I was about to say that as well. Leon. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Basically, you know, when...
You know what it is, though? I hate when you say a sequel of that. I know he clearly died at the end, but bring Natalie Portman back in him.
And this is the bit where Kevin Bacon's wife went into labour when he was on top of his fridge.
Convenient. Oh dear.
And he come. This is a mint. What's really weird here when you see what his leg when you go back, it's like this fake leg on the right, I think it is, of the screen.
Oh yeah.
Wait, there. He's got this fake leg sticking out. It's fucking brutal, that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, absolutely brutal, that.
He's waving bye. Bye. There should be a bird, yeah. There you go. You know what I mean? Would have been awesome.
Quite a big store for a small town.
Hint of Jurassic Park coming on now. Make it to the bench.
Made it through the fence and escaped from the kitchen.
Yeah. Spielberg nicked this, like, what a hack.
I'm surprised Spielberg hasn't got his fingers in this.
The bird along.
Domino, motherfucker.
Come with me if you want to live.
There's a lot of audio dub in this, like, I can't. It's just like, he's definitely not saying that.
Thunderbolt, crouching down.
He's so happy to see him. Hey! Now, the original script, and it was also prepped to do it, Perfection Water Tower was meant to go over. But in the fourth film, it's called Rejection, you know. But they changed it to Perfection. The name of the town. Okay, so Melvin's on the roof.
That is just worse. That's probably the worst roof to be on. Oh, no. In a second. Oh my god. You know, when a guy jumps on a tire for no reason, then we need to get higher. I think that's what a stupid thing to do. Chester, where are you going? Melvin's dad.
Back to Bert's hideout.
I like how they had an electric open bench there. That's totally unnecessary for where you're living.
Population of
total,
13, you're two of them. Yeah.
I love bore having a bench, but having it like opened up electrically, no.
We've all done it at the supermarkets. Pretend you've got the force when you open the door. When it opens by itself. We've all done it.
At least you got the binoculars a bit more accurate in terms of how you see things.
Yeah, not like a really bad one where it's like the camera, you know, it's a camera just a really bad thing on it.
Yeah.
We're very happy through the film. Jesus Christ. This must be the middle act, I think.
It's
Yeah, you can feel it like pace up a little bit, can't you? Like, it got rid of a couple of characters in one go there, and
well, that's it. You know what I mean. And plus, it's like, you know, like you could probably like, it's one of those movies where you could start and go, well, he's probably gonna die. No, he doesn't die till like the last film.
yeah.
Standard walkie-talkies. Ooh. Nom 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 nom. Cheaper. That's awesome nature, isn't it?
There you go, telling Bert to get on the roof. Now, in the second one, it's one of the best things. Obviously, when you see Bert, I think we're going to need some help. And it cuts back to Bert, and his wife's left him. Obviously, she's not coming back for the sequel. And he's just got the graboid just mounted on the wall.
Yeah.
It's fucking...
Although that didn't really sell very well, though, is it? Because I think the way they portray them as a couple, you know, like, they're too much alike of each other, so, like, what must he have done to have her leave him?
He gets obsessed. He gets obsessed with the reason she leaves him in the film series is he could not live without the threat of nuclear fallout. So once everything had calmed down, he couldn't handle that the world was not on edge, and that's why she leaves him in the films.
That makes more sense, doesn't it?
It is like those doomsday preppers, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, like those TV shows. I love this. This is like probably my favourite bit, like these bit, like when it comes to the wall.
It's a miniature, and it's a very clever and executed shot as well. So
yeah.
And you just hear the fireworks, and you think, "Oh, that's not it." coming to get you. Great work, that. And of course, they've just got, like, you realise that they've just got this, like, arsenal of guns and, like...
Yeah.
They've blown one of them off and that. I mean, even there, like, oh, does it have to put its head for the roof? Oh, yeah, we'll put its head for the roof, don't you worry. And they're shooting the fuck out of it.
It kind of reminds me of a little bit of Starship Troopers, a little bit, you know, the big brain with them at the end.
Yeah.
But it's still a miniature and a proper effect, proper practical at the same time.
See, I want to see them as pop vinyls, but it seems like some of Universal's property just doesn't exist. And like, if you look at The Thing in like Universal's pop vinyl collection, there's a lot of them disappear.
Yeah.
These are just pop vinyl, these ones.
Big sizes, but
Boom!
Punishment, like, innit?
It's got a kick to it, like. And it's dead. Broke into the right goddamn basement, didn't you?
groovy.
Rec Room.
Can you guys remember this being on DVD, yeah? And it would never fit the screen properly?
Mm.
Or was it just me? If I remember right. Yeah, I think it was something to do with it. It was 4.3, but it was in like 1.85, so it was weird. I mean, it didn't fit into a screen, I had to zoom in, if I remember right. I think it was one of the early Universal DVDs.
Right.
Sorry guys. Didn't mean to bore you from your nerds.
No, I'm listening. I'm just, like I said, I
Way
definitely
to
had
go,
that DVD, but I can't remember.
dude.
But things are right now.
Come on, Bert, don't waste your ammo.
And these Bert's got Sky TV.
You didn't even get penetration with the elephant gun.
That's what Mason says all the time.
Huh. So they've got two left, all set up. And just happened to go for his car just as they're smart, they're listening. Like, you're gonna come get your car, get your Jeep, and... Meanwhile, I'm gonna take out the building.
Just testing it for weakness and done that. Stumpy. Yeah.
And the second one, there's one that's got the Mexican radio on, so every time like they're getting close, you can hear them coming. It's always playing like El Mariachi music and all that. It's quite funny.
I imagine the second one was visual tape. I think that was the last time I've seen it. And it was really bad CGI, wasn't it, with them walking around?
It was alright for the time. I mean,
Oh,
it
the
was.
thing was good.
I love the second one, like, because I loved this one so much, and it was years later. Finally, they were making a Tremors 2.
I have to revisit it. I can't remember much about it.
You look at that, eh? It's wireless. You know what I mean? That's a big ass walkie-talkie.
Well, Fred Rhodes on.
Hmm.
CB, isn't it? CB radio?
CB radio, yeah.
Breaker. How many candles are you burning?
Over.
Convoy. I don't know, just what I've learned from CB stuff.
Right, so here we go. Nesta Gun's flying off his fucking... Well, why is Nesta now on the floor randomly? No, he's not. He's on his caravan.
This is a bit, yeah.
He's on his caravan.
The Nesta goes flying off.
And this is the bit I'm going, what is a bloody point? He deserves to die. You idiot.
Assuming that that's his caravan, though.
Well, what?
Because
Just watch, though.
If we're gonna break it down,
What? No, wait
you're
there.
assuming that he's gonna be Melvin's dad.
Wait there.
Yeah,
Watch
when
this
Melvin
shot. Watch this shot here. Watch this. Right, gets in the tyre, everyone's laughing, gets it like stupid death. Watch. Zoom. It zooms down through the fence, along the floor, and then up on a crane shot. And there's Melvin. And look at Melvin's reaction, but then look how it cuts to everyone else not saying anything. So is that Melvin's dad just killed in front of him? Because it's not explained.
No.
And Melvin's crying in the background.
But then they play both sides, though, because obviously you're assuming that the camera is the graboid, but obviously it's not when it gets to Melvin's face.
So it's very...
The pictures it's not with him, isn't it? It may not be Melvin's dad, but obviously it must be his family member, you know what I mean?
Well, I think you're probably right that it is, but I would say that if that was his caravan, Melvin was chilling out somewhere else.
But
like
why pull on the Melvin like that? Because the only way Melvin could exist if he was the older brother to the Mindy character, and that was his mum. But at no point is there any kind of connection in that as well.
Yeah, because he wants to hear a reaction.
And he's definitely not Walter Chang's kid, Carl.
Listen, you can't prove a damn thing, Mason.
2021 now, Mason. You cannot say stuff like that. You're so 2020, you, Mason. Unbelievable.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Thanks, guys.
Since he goes that beard.
Oh, it's been about a year since I started growing the beard, actually.
He was sitting outside work one time and stuff from pennies at him.
Sorry, I'm coming back.
So there you gone.
I just went in the other room. Had to plug something in.
Right. Are you ready for it? Because, I mean, extensive research, and I literally just Googled it. Very simple. It's the first thing that popped up. So, I first want to mention that under species, for some reason, it's got human, under Melvin. Don't think that needed to be explained. But this is what it says. Although Melvin appeared to live alone in the first film, it is implausible for a 17-year-old to do so. The creators of the film stated that his parents were uncaring towards him and often abandoned him to gamble in Las Vegas.
And that's another, isn't it?
Well, that's it. So that's his backstory, Mason. Solved.
Well done, Cop. You're like Cullen, were you? You're awesome.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I kind of wanted it to be Walter, but obviously, you know, never mind.
Melvin does reappear in the end of the third one and gets left on a rock by Bert as the albino one. Graboid is there.
So is he still technically alive in the universe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he appears in the TV series as well.
Yeah.
As I say, a lot of the cast who survived this are in the third one, except for Kevin Bacon.
Right.
Well, in fact, except for Kevin Bacon here and Fred Ward in the last, everyone's in the third one.
Mm. Would it explain what Kevin Bacon was up to? Not him as the actor, but as
in the second one, he just says he met a good girl and he made obviously made a lot of money off graboids and went that way. Fred Ward invested all his money into ostriches, and it didn't work out for him.
Right. Of course it did.
That's similarity.
Question is, does Val ever win a game of rock, paper, scissors?
Good question.
He doesn't, but this fall here by the stunt guy is fucking brilliant, but fuck me. Brutal.
Yeah. Actually looks painful too, if I remember right. I'm surprised you got one of them. Or a little car thing to drive around in the back garden.
I've got a fucking Mini. Got enough petrol going out my car.
Good luck, shithead.
Watch this. Fella.
Alright.
Guy could easily broke his leg. Watch, here we go. Ooh, wank. But what a great stunt guy to keep his head down when he lands on his arse. Because it would have been totally unusable.
Well, he probably didn't want to do it a second time, did he?
Oh, it's down. Keep going. Right, that shot there, do you know how they did that with the rocks?
Nah.
Just pointed the camera up with some Perspex glass and just dumped dirt on it. That's it. Vertically dumped dirt on the camera.
Alright, yeah. See what I mean?
Great effect.
I like how they did it here, like how he stops. It's a great interaction.
Nom, 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 nom. Nom, 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 nom.
Metal. Gotta make some noise. You slime bucket, that's you, Paul. That you're a slime bucket. 40-year-old slime bucket.
Alright. Don't dig it in, man. Alright. Ready to feel old today.
So, what's your first podcast of your 40s, Paul? Tremors.
This is the first film I've seen this. This is the first film I've seen since 40, yeah.
See, it's interesting that they had the big working ones, but they decided to use that shot there as a miniature.
I think it's for the age of the film and the effects and the budget. I should have come from around it, but it's really good. Really, really good. It kind of faltered. Like I said, you have films now which have bigger budgets and the CGI looks terrible.
Mm.
This is what I love old school films for.
I've always enjoyed the podcasts we've done, anywhere from like late 80s to middle of 90s. I enjoy them ones. We do.
Yeah, my favourite, like, because it's so good.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit biased at the end of the day, though, because it is our childhood, so, you know, it's like what we grew up with. I feel like it's very hard to dislike something that you obviously watched when you were a young kid, because...
Not like when we did them damn sea vampires.
Oh, well, you know, it is, though, funny enough, I still don't even reach, like, I don't even still class that as the worst one. The Predator was the worst one.
Predator was the worst one.
At least the damn sea vampire knew what they were doing. They knew they were being stupid with it. What's the views like on that mission?
What's that one?
Those damn sea vampires?
Ooh.
He's never reached it, he's too embarrassed. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's still
I've
in the locker for a rainy day, is it?
No. I just don't have access to everything now. I've got. I know what you did last summer. Uploading on one screen. You'll not get much views on that one, I don't think, because like the fucking full film's free on YouTube.
Well, it's finally something you can market though. Watch our podcast and watch it straight afterwards for free.
They're making homemade bombs.
Only in America.
Nice little cutaway though. You know what I mean? He's making bombs, cuts to them coming up on the tractors and all that kind of stuff. It's a nice transition of time.
Yeah. Well, like I say, it's just what we said before. It's just a really well-paced film.
I do love my hero music, you know, the theme there.
Oh.
These things are goddamn smart. It's such a good film, like. I think the score. What do you guys think of the score? Because obviously it's two different composers.
But like I said before, like because I got on TV a lot, I can't really hear much. But the hero theme from before was pretty good, like. But it's something you just like we're just saying, like that's like movies these days, like you kind of hum the new dark theme, you know, like Batman theme or anything like that. You can, but you know a score from like Jurassic Park, you know a score from Ghostbusters, you know the score. But these days films, have lost its scores. I used to buy soundtracks all the time. There's only a handful of films now where I love the score. So for me, it's
going to be really good to be memorable.
Yeah. That's why in the Justice League I enjoyed the bit where I had the Batman and Superman theme on for like 30 seconds each. That was really good. But no, and to be honest, like the so far like the hero score, which I call it at the moment, the bit is alright actually. What I can hear of it, because obviously I've got TV on now.
Well, I've got it on mute, so I can't really contribute much.
I've got an echo of a things.
But again, it goes from like, is this a horror film? Is it a comedy film? Is it?
Well, that's one of the problems they have with the marketing of it.
I'd say like it's probably close to like black comedy. I think it is trying to be like a horror kind of thriller, sort of, not thriller, but horror-esque. But I feel like in the 80s there was all sorts of like jokey quips going on in any film. You think of Gremlins, Critters, you know,
goddamn crates,
evil clowns from outer space, stuff like that. You know, it's just like they're all kind of classed as we're being serious, but then there's always going to be that quirk. But then, do you think? I mean, I don't know timeline. Do you think like Nightmare on Elm Street kind of kicked that off a little bit? I feel like that. I mean, Chucky's too new, but like in the sense of like with first Nightmare on Elm Street, it was like scary. It was really like quite the horror. But then after that, it just became funnier and funnier.
Oh, that's it.
Horror comedy, rom-com.
So they truly established that they can build traps and stuff, and you know, a pretty big stunt and typical 80s movie when they've got them little machine guns, isn't it?
The great team was out. No, I love it when a pack comes together.
Hang on, big ass fucking bomb coming. If they were going to do pop finals, they would do Val and Earl, and they would do Birdcomer, that's for sure. They would have to do a Graboid. But then, like, again, when you get in the realm, would you do Grady and all that? Probably not. Like, but I still think you should be able to do a fucking... You know what I mean? Because a pop final or Graboid, you could just have it so it's sat in a flat surfaces and just reached up. That's all you would need.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, when I thought about it, I was thinking of, like... I don't know if you have both seen it like up close, but like the Ghostbusters banquet one I've got. So basically it's a platform, but it's actually got like a rough surface, so it's got like broken glass and stuff like that. So they could totally do one where it's like basically a sand rough surface and then have a graboid bang in the middle.
Yeah.
It would definitely work.
Yeah, I would love to think big one, like the Jaws one, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But I see the thing is, the Jaws one, you can't really display it outside the box. That's why mine's just dumped in the fish tank. It's like, you know what I mean?
Well,
Jaws should just be the head coming up.
Well, what I'm working on, I'm not going to invest unless I see it in person, so obviously I'm not buying online or something like that. But I don't know if you might have one, Mason, but you know those paper spikes? Like you put like receipts on and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So if you actually look on the belly of Jaws, there is actually already like a hole. So my thought process was that I would actually put it so that it was basically on top of one of them, and so like have that hover effect. Yeah. But that's one. But like I say, it's one of those things I want to really see it in person, like because you never know like what they're going to look like or how thick it is.
Like an inch, like an inch long.
Yeah. But like I say, I mean, I'm not that invested because it's only a bit of paint, but I was looking on it. It's still a candy price, but it's in the exclusive Jaws one with the gas tank, but it's like all bloody.
Oh yeah.
But it's got bloody Quinn hanging out the bottom. I always like that, but again, it's just way too much money, like. But then I suppose that's, you know more about that, do you, Paul? Like, obviously, some of the older stuff must go for some serious money these days.
Nice, yeah. When I had loads of stuff, I sold them all off, and then the He-Man ones are worth like 130 odd quid, and the Kenobi ones are like the first editions are worth loads and stuff. But yeah. But then it's all those things that they made like Beanie Babies in for 5 years time.
The Big Jump Little China ones. They've held it. They've gone through the roof because I've got Low Pan and the Free Storms, and like Jack Burton and fucking Gracie. They were a fucking fortune.
Yeah,
that's a thing. It's a certain kind. You know what I mean? Like they don't mass produce them. Yeah. It's your books.
Well, listen, I mean, like I said, I've never had that look though. The amount of steel books I passed on, thinking, it'll be dead cheap down the line, then it's sold out. But then the one that like jumped on straight away on pre-order, and then it turned out that you can get them for like a $5 in CX and stuff like that. Always the case with me.
Well, that's it. Some of them do.
I think, in fact, it was just before the first lockdown. It wasn't steel books. It was those Batman digibook things that you've got, the 4K ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I ended up getting all 3 of them because I thought, I bet you they'll be off the shelf in 5 minutes. Nah, they're still there. But they've gone down in price much, have they?
No.
No, I haven't like lost out on any, but I just assumed it would be a sellout because it's so nice.
So I think this picture is a bit slow, isn't it? You feel like the final act it kind of goes slow a little bit, isn't it? The final act bit.
Well, the bit here. This bit here, I didn't realise it until I was watching here. This comment here, I'm just going to walk out there and I'm going to throw myself in front of it. That's how he dies in the 7th one. He sacrifices himself.
Right.
So, like, he foreshadows his own death here. I told you that the other week.
Yeah. I know.
And then in the 2nd one, they use more controlled cars and he uses more controlled tanks as, like, graboids. Because they murder about fucking 50 graboids in the 2nd one. Off this technique they establish here. Fishing for graboids.
What a good idea.
Look at that sky, man. Looks lush.
Yeah.
Bert, you asshole.
It's interesting because there's no way they could know how many there is, could they? I mean, we still watching now, but I mean, for all they know, there could be hundreds underneath there.
The thing is, for how outlandish it is so fucking grounded, like believable. Do you know what I mean? I don't think anybody in this, rings in a performance. Everyone's on the top form here, like.
Well, like I said, based on what Kevin Bacon was saying about how fun it was to work there, I think everyone just really into it. It seemed like obviously a great fun set to work on, and everyone just having a great laugh with it.
What's everyone's thoughts on cowboy boots? I'm just looking there. He just ran across that rock like he had no tomorrow. My opinion with cowboy boots is they've got no grip.
I've never wore them, but bit of orange sludge. But I mean, I don't think I'll ever want to pay enough because I don't like them. I think they're just the most expensive pair of shoes a man can buy, I think.
great shot, that.
Yeah. I think it's really smart that they went with that colour as well. That bright, vibrant orange.
And yeah, we're in the last 5 minutes of the movie, really.
Yeah.
Stumpy.
I got for that either way. Old man ways.
Once you break the seal.
Here it comes. And this one's smarter, throws it back. Just so happens to land in the bag.
Yeah.
It's so funny that, like, and then they'll just, like, jump off and then realise they're actually out in the wild.
Go on, Stumpy, get it. But foreshadowing again, though, he has one bomb in his hand. Do you know what I mean? They've done a really good job. I think the director's done a really good job. But I don't think he's went on to direct much either.
That grabber's got some strength to spell it out, like, isn't it?
Depends on if you spend a lot of time spitting or swallowing, doesn't it?
Hey, Paul can answer that.
Actually.
Look how far they landed out there. Like, what's that about?
Yeah.
See, that's a great, like, again though, look at that though, they've ran in and like, almost like you didn't see it, they chose to have a big dust battle, you know what I mean, rather than have it break through the ground. It's very, thought out. I mean, that does look like a circumcised penis coming out the floor, like.
I don't think I've ever seen a penis circumcised come out of a hole before.
Send you a picture if you want. There'll be nothing more penis looking than those weird things in Alien, not Alien, it was Prometheus.
Yeah.
That was just like full on dildos all over the floor.
Hey, Paul, you missed a call the other day. Carl kept talking about people's vaginas all the way through Flash Gordon, man. Had to fucking have a silent word with him.
What film was that? Right terminology.
Flash Gordon?
Flash Gordon.
Can't remember what triggered it now though.
Well, might as well have been watching Flash Gordon the way Carl was talking about vaginas.
I think the word vagina came up like 3 times, and the last time was obviously deliberate because Mason kept on asking us about vaginas, I think.
Yeah.
Is that thing of rated 18 and over?
Well, all my videos are now rated, because the new YouTube law, all my videos are now rated not for kids.
Yep.
Look at the floor bounce as he runs past. The floor's probably...
That's where the puppeteers are on them.
Yeah, and then she realises she's got the fucking lighter.
Tremors and Frank here, everybody. Yay!
There's always one thing I always wanted to see though, like Grady in the second one's going, oh yeah, I love the advert for Reebok when you guys are running from the desert away from them. This is the start of the movie. It's the same shot. It's a matte painting. That's a different clip to that side, but there you go.
That's good.
What's that fuse made out of that he could just pull it apart so easily?
It's just a movie. Just a music fuse. And there it goes flying, which is a miniature effect. I don't like Kevin Bacon's jump here. Is fucking stupid.
Yeah, that didn't really work.
That camera, like, zooming out looks awesome. Oh yeah, it's bad.
And then on top, it's like a green screen composite. Oosh, lush. I mean, what a finale death, though. You know what I mean? It's fucking brilliant. But yeah, that's just in the car park of Universal. That it's like a high miniature thing they've made.
I believe that.
Yeah.
But
the villain is small, though, isn't he? Wasn't the other one much bigger?
Well, just in the reshot the ending, because originally he doesn't kiss her. They drive off, and that was the ending. Sort of like and they forget a lighter and they turn back, so it leaves it open-ended as if they get together or not, but the test audience has demanded the kisses, so it's like, I think it's 6 months later between the two shots.
Well, it's like expectations now. I mean, I think it's the other way around these days. You don't always have to have a love interest in films and stuff like that. I think that's the thing about it. Like, if they just drove off, that would have worked for me. I wouldn't have really expected it, because it clearly is obviously sexual tension between them, but there was not like a demand for it. I wouldn't have sat there and thought, oh, what a waste, they could have gotten together, you know what I mean? Obviously test audience did, but...
Well, that picture she's just taken there is the picture they used throughout the rest of the series, and that's how Kevin Bacon appears in the second one. It's that exact picture, so...
Yeah.
I remember those days I'd take your negatives to the chemist and get them developed there.
Aye, the dreams of getting a blurry fucking picture. Oh no, what's that?
Right.
I think the chemistry works. I think she was alright. I mean, it's a shame that she didn't appear for anything else or whatever, but...
But this is what I was thinking of earlier on when I mentioned it, because I thought, you know, for all she may not have been invited, but given the fact that she hadn't worked like kind of religiously, it would have been, I could imagine, I would find it hard to picture her not saying, yes, I want to come back for another one. But maybe it was just one of those actresses who just decided, I'm not really going to act for a living. She might have just been in the right time, right place for that role.
Yeah, this is the reshoot here. That's why there's no town or anything. Just a car parked up the side of the road. And plus her makeup. Well, her makeup's totally different. If you look now, she's got no makeup on compared to the last shot.
Yeah. You can imagine it being dead weird, can't you? Like, so many months later, and get a phone call saying, can you come back for a day's work? You just got to kiss him, but that's all there is. And then it'd be like...
If Kevin Bacon got his hair cut, I mean, it's, oh my god, it's like the Jack, you know, like School of Rock, when Jack Black did the music video, but he had his hair shaved, and the music video has got a really bad wig on. And School of Rock music video. Jesus Christ. Well done.
Alright, it's a short film, like.
Yeah, for 95 minutes, so short and sweet, but you know what it is, or like, at the end of the day, that's what the story is. It's like these days, people want to make something at least 2 hours long, or they want to make it something that's not. Whereas the guys had a story, and they wrote it, simple as.
Definitely. How many graboids out of 10?
For me, I think it's a classic. It still stands up. You know, like I say, the visual effects are spot on. Like I say, I think there's not really much I can complain about it altogether. So I'd give it like a 9 graboids out of 10. Like,
oh wow, mint, Macy.
9, yeah. I mean, don't get us wrong. I mean, on a questionable thing, it'd be a 10 for me, but it's like up there. It's timeless.
Yeah.
You know, it's a film that was classed as a flop, but it spawned 6 sequels and a TV series. It's become... This is like... When they talk about cult films, this is a cult film because the cult following it's had to warrant to have 7 more films. I think everyone was perfectly cast, and I think everyone was, like, not cast as, like, typecast. Everyone's been, like, cast outside the box where they're going to have fun. It's a brilliant... It's a brilliant farewell to stop animation for like the band between, you know, because Jurassic Park would come along and destroy a lot of that. But again, it's 3 people who want to do this movie, and you know, a little in studio interference, but like perfect sense. Go out in the middle of the desert, build a little town to make it work for you. Don't worry about any other problems outside the box, and just here's 90 minutes of like because everyone likes a creature feature. As long as the origin story is passable, you know, it's got enough blood in there. A lot of the deaths do happen off camera, but no, it's as I say, it's just a nice, perfect watch of a movie. It's something you can watch and watch and watch, and still get a bit out of it every time you watch it. Even watching it again with you guys, you know what I mean?
Watching this 30 years later, I mean, it's people like us who get the sequel's made, really, isn't it?
This is nearly...
pass it out to the younger generation.
What is this, 31-year-old, this movie?
99,
Yeah, we'll be. But to be honest with you, though, I can still imagine it. It's maybe I'm wrong, but I can still imagine showing you this to a 20-year-old, and they would enjoy it. There's a lot of old stuff, like we're talking about, like Flash Gordon, and I would totally accept someone in the 20s watching Flash Gordon and think it's absolutely ridiculous. But it's just like that's what I grew up on, so it's my mindset on that. Where I honestly think if someone watched this in the 20s now, they'd have just as much fun as I have. So that's where like a film kind of earns its respect.
Troy Goff, 9. I give it. They said Susan Mason said Tremors. It was definitely on the back burner, but yeah, it's just a nice, easy film. It's like I said, it's 90 odd minutes, nice and short. You know what I mean? There's action. There's it's just the characters are really good, and just a nice small set, and it's just, and you can tell where the budget was spent on. You know what I mean? Visual effects, it's just amazing. But yeah.
Well, the Blu-ray is absolutely packed with extra features on Arrow, because there's even like young directors like film books where there's educational films of like a talking like dictionary and stuff come to life, or like a gorilla hand coming out. So it's fucking packed, the Arrow special edition, and it's great to see preserved. As I say, like there's definitely a fan collection out there for Tremors. So I warrant anyone to get a hold of the special edition. Like, so is you right? Timeless.
Well, I'm gonna say, just because it's popped up on the standard steelbook, not as much. We have the making of Tremors, and we have 3 featurettes, which is all the same thing, which is Kevin Bacon profile, Michael Gross profile, and Rebecca McIntyre profile. So not as much. So I reckon definitely if anyone's looking to really nerd out on it, that Arrow collection probably is worth a pick up.
Fucking packed. It's absolutely packed, and plus the commentaries by the 3 curators is done in last lockdown as well, so it's very recent as well. A very interesting commentary. Well, we will be back for Jurassic Park Lost World. That is our next one, as we are working our way through the Jurassic Park collection. I've been happy to join with Paul Ray, the 40-year-old podcaster, and the one and only...
Hold on, does that mean you're actually now the 40-year-old virgin? Yep.
Born again virgin. Born again virgin.
Born again, yeah.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now.